Hi, this short video is about the spiritual heart. From the physical point of view, the heart is the number one organ in our body, the most important organ. And we can live for a while if some organs stop working. But when it comes to the heart, if the heart stops working, then no way can our whole organism continue to live. So for that reason, the heart is like the prime core of our body. It's like it is the main source of life. It is really, the heart, even from a very physical level, is very akin to our life. It's almost our own source of life. That special force that makes it to beat. That only the heart encompasses or channels. So for that reason, the heart is very close to our life from the physical point of view, and in the psychological point of view, or the soul point of view, the heart is like our core, our most intimate, our innermost, our deepest core. So someone's heart, as we all know, is like the core of the person, the best of the person, the innermost of the person, the highest value, the noblest value of the person is always in the heart. Like that, the heart is closest to our being. When we say, for example, that person is in my heart, or I have a cause in my heart, I have that thing in my heart, that means that thing, that cause, that person is very dear to them, very close to them, like in their innermost. And the heart is magical. If something enters our heart, then it's very difficult that it will leave it. From the psychological point of view, the heart is the source of constancy, our source of conviction, our source of love, our source of wisdom, our source of balance, our source of right and wrong, and especially our source of intuition. If something enters the heart, you have something in your heart, you will be unstoppable. If we put any cause, any project into our heart, we will never give it up. We'll always fight for it, fight for the best of it. That's all because of the nature of the heart. In the heart is the best of the person. Once again, from the psychological point of view, we know that no ego, no negative thought process can enter the heart. The heart is a world to its own, where the mind cannot interfere or cannot enter. That's why we have the faculty of intuition coming from the heart. So the heart, or intuition that is in the heart, that comes from the heart, allows us to know something without the mental reasoning processes, without analysing something, without reasoning, without trial and error, without if or if not, or else, etc., etc. That belongs to the mind. The heart, through intuition, can just know something directly in an instant. Whereas the mind, very difficult that it can know something in an instant. It has to prove it, it has to logically conclude, logically deduce it to be so. Sometimes in practical life, we think, our mind says, no way will that happen. But somehow the heart feels uneasy, the heart gives us an inkling that it will happen. And sure enough, it does happen. Even vice versa, our mind says, it will happen, but the heart says, no, it won't happen. And the heart, in those times, in those examples, can give us a tranquility. Because the heart knows what is real. The heart is the thing that processes, works with the real, whereas the mind doesn't. The mind is a subjective thing working with projections that are not real. So there's a lot said about the tranquil heart, the heart of compassion. Because in the heart expresses the noblest, the superior emotions of the human being. In our heart, in our core, we're not a bad person, we're not murderers, we're not anything bad that we think we could be. In our heart is our soul, is our essence, is in fact, we say, esoterically speaking, a particle or an atom of our interior divinity. Much has been said about the heart temple. So in our heart, we find our heart temple, a temple where our being, our inner divinity, resides. So there's much tranquility in the heart, much serenity, much peace. It's like the doorway to our inner world. It's like a channel to our interior divinity. Master Samael gave such a wonderful practice for us to experience the great reality. He says to forget about everything, concentrate on the heart and chant the mantra Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhi Swaha. And I encourage you to do that practice today. It's really wonderful. Maybe we don't get, the experience of the great reality, but for sure we can get a great peace. We can enter our heart and feel the serenity that is there. We can make the mind quiet. So with the mind quiet, we enter our heart. And our heart, in the esoteric level or dimension, is like a whole world, is like a universe. A great forest, a great planet is in the esoteric dimension of our heart. Birds, the sky, animals. A divine temple where our interior being resides. So through the heart, within the heart, we can find the voice of silence, the voice of our interior divinity. If we meditate on the heart, listening with alertness, with patience, with serenity, that voice of the silence, that intuition which comes from our interior divinity, speaks to us, guiding us, answering our deepest, most important question, most relevant question that we have. And really it's wonderful to meditate on the heart. And the heart, is connected to the powers of the air, because the heart falls into that region of the air in the body. So meditating on the heart makes it easy for us to project or unfold ourselves into the astral body. And also it has much to do with the powers that we can develop that can allow us to enter into a state of jhanas. Because for the state of jhanas we need great faith, great force, conviction, and that can only come from the heart, not from the mind. The tremendous trust and faith in the masters of the jhana science comes from the heart. That terrific courage that Master Samael showed that allowed him to learn that science came from his heart. Just as a little side note, when we're learning that science of jhanas, we have to challenge one of the elements. So it said the disciple of the Buddha proved that he was a disciple of the Buddha by passing through a rock. So there he challenged the element of earth. Jesus the Christ with Peter challenged the element of water. And Master Samael, in his initial practices of the state of jhanas, challenged the element of air. So maybe if we're practicing that science, we might have to challenge one or another of these particular elements. That is, the proof that we have that faculty will be in overcoming one of those elements. Okay, so going back to the heart, most important thing for us to know in our heart is the heart temple, the dwelling of our being. There is his force, there is his conviction, there is his source of life, which comes to us from the Absolute. So the heart is so tranquil because it's apart from the mind. And the heart is a different world independent of the mind. In the heart is a connection to the being. And the being is that happiness. The being, our interior divinity, is made, Master Sama says, from the fabric of happiness itself. So the heart is happy, the heart is joyful, the heart is peace, the heart is serenity, the heart is tranquility. The heart is love. If we talk from the heart, we always get it right. The heart is so wise, it produces balance. Really, to live from the heart is satisfying. It doesn't leave you with any regrets. So that's what we have to aim for, to live from the heart. Master Sama says to reason, think with the heart, and feel with the mind. So we have to do the reverse process, stop reasoning with the mind, and start reasoning with the heart and feeling with the mind. So sometimes, within our heart we can feel like a pain or something, and usually you may find that out, is that pain can come from when other people are upset with us or disagree with us or thinking negatively about us. So it's that intuition, the heart. Also, unfortunately, can have some connections to the ego. But the ego, not every ego, but the ego where we feel deeply hurt or deeply offended, betrayed, hard done by, etc. It hurts the heart. Maybe because some principle that was in our heart has been broken. Anyway, when we love someone, that person enters our heart. So if we know that we're in the heart of another person, we can feel tranquil, we can feel at ease, we can feel at peace. Because if someone is in that, if we are in someone else's heart, there'll always be love for us. So we don't have to worry then, we can relax. But it's so hard to know if we're in someone else's heart. We can't put ourselves by force in another person's heart. We never can enter by force into another person's heart, because it's a divine sanctuary. We can only be invited in, we can only be allowed to be in there by the permission of the other person or the volition of the other person. But we can put anyone into our own heart. No problem about it. We can put so much into our own heart, into our own heart temple, in fact. Anyway, just to conclude now, I would like to say that I like to put everyone into my heart, because I know the best will come to them. The best waves of sincere good wishing, goodwill will come to them, will reach them. And never mind if they do something bad to me. Who cares? Life is so short. What's good is that I'm always positive towards them, always loving them, always feeling them, sending them goodwill. That way I will always be filled with goodwill and always be close to the heart, to the interior divinity that dwells in each human heart. Sometimes, of course, yes, we do get angry with others, but that is just of the mind. The worst thing is when we take people out of our heart. I don't know anymore if there's any good reason to take another person out of our heart. We can keep them in there, but they may leave our life. They may not want us in their life anymore. That's fine. I remember something now from a movie. What was it called? Kingdom of Heaven, where in the beginning of the film, the wife of the main actor who played Orlando Bloom, his wife committed suicide. I'm not sure why, perhaps an illness or something. Then a priest wanted to cut her head off, because there was the belief of the church at that time that suicides, were going direct to hell, and better they be decapitated. Then he said, how can you be in hell when you're in my heart? Okay, anyway, I hope this has been useful for you. the spiritual heart of the human being. Okay, thanks for listening and watch me in other videos. Bye.